Good afternoon, Rick.
Summer's here.
Well, I saw a news flash last night. It said, "Oh my gosh, there might be a 90-degree temperature day in the Phoenix future." Here, I'm like, okay, so
Today's the day, 92.
It's 92, but it's
So here-
still gorgeous.
Oh yeah. It's warm, but not hot for us.
I have tennis at 4 o'clock.
And you have tennis at 4 o'clock, and here we are, Sugar Crush, and the rest of the story. So I'm going to tell an experience I had the other day with my new iPad. I was at the Apple store in downtown Scottsdale at Fashion Square.
Right across the street from
Right, real close to here. So I went over there and I talked to the lady. She asked me what I wanted, and I said, I'm looking at iPads. And she said, oh, let me get you somebody to help you. So I was standing there looking at the iPads, and I heard this clicking sound. And it was a guy walking up to me, this service guy that was going to help me. He was blind. Very pleasant, very nice, and very knowledgeable. And I just want to talk about medicine and technology. Now, as you well know, I don't know my passwords for this, that, or that. And I'm not real adept at the technology. And now, mind you, he cannot see. And he's helping me go through the different devices they had. And he knew every detail. And he's standing there talking as he turned it on. He says, now look at the screen and look up in the right-hand corner. And what do you see there? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, no, up in the right-hand corner. It's right there. Well, he can't see. So we had the blind leading the blind. But I thought it was really amazing because he took his iPhone and had his thumb on text to speech. So he had an earpiece in his left ear, so I didn't see that. So I asked him how he's doing this. He's manipulating the screen, and then he's listening to what is being said there. Now, here's it. This guy's about 40 years old. Probably.
I know where you're going with this.
This is amazing. Man, because he was so happy, so productive, so knowledgeable.
Wow.
Now, technology got him back in the game and even demonstrated how to take it out of the case and everything for me and turn it on. I didn't know that stuff. And I was just so blown away. And I asked him, I said, when did you lose your sight? And he said, when he was 18. I said, what's the diagnosis? And he said, retinosa pigmentosa, which means the retina, the pigment, genetically goes away. Well, and this is my opinion. At 18, all of a sudden it decides to go away? I don't think so. It's an epigenetic disease, just like everything else. But I looked it up for him. And I said, do you have a family history of this? He says, no. I said, well, that's another clue. Yeah. It's not a hereditary disease. I said, let me look up and see if they're doing anything with stem cells. And they were. They actually had some research studies going on. And I said, did your doctor tell you about that? He said, no, we never discussed that. Well, here he is, 18 years without sight, obviously very productive. So this message and what we want to talk about today, because you were just at the MedTech convention. You represent a lot of new companies in the space of medicine and technology, and there is an example. And if Apple is listening, you ought to be really proud of this kid. Okay, not kid, young man.
Yes.
And tech plays a big part in medicine.
Right.
And you have a couple of new companies that I haven't really heard about, and I want to hear about them today.
For sure.
So if you can top that story, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, gosh. To top that story. Well, I don't know. It's
I mean, I'm in a clinical setting, and there I am getting a tech device. Yeah. And that's the marriage of perfect medicine and technology. And I understand you're going to start a fund.
Today we just came to an agreement with my soon-to-be partner in Palo Alto.
Ooh, Palo Alto, that's where the money is.
Well, that region raised $93 billion for startups in 2023, eclipsing the next 10 angel VC areas in the country.
That's right.
From New York to Austin to Dallas to Chicago. It's just I've been here. He's from the Middle East. He's from Jordan.
Love Jordan.
Just a wonderful, caring guy, great personality, great delivery. Was brought in back in the day to save companies. So he's got the financials, he's got the personnel understanding and how you all get along at the table. I met him at this conference. And
so you met him at the MedTech?
At the MedTech conference.
So why don't you tell our audience about what the MedTech convention is all about? Because I spoke there last year.
Yes.
As the keynote speaker on the medical side. And there's a lot of medical startups at all phases and capital deck, as you guys like to talk about this. I want you to explain what a capital deck is, why there's different classes and there's different phases,
right,
and how money is raised and what they're looking for in this space, because that convention is the med tech, meaning exactly what happened in the Apple Store.
Right.
And this year there were, 50 companies?
There were 50 companies, about half were med tech. And what I look for is innovation, right? Not brand new out of the box. We just came up with this idea. So I represent innovative companies that have taken a proven idea, product, solution, and they've innovated it into new use. Use. Like Apollo Neuro.
Let's talk about Apollo Neuro.
I'm wearing it right here on my wrist. It takes a frequency-based technology, puts it on the wrist in a wearable, and allows your phone to change the frequency, which really activates, calms down your autonomic nervous system.
Right. So,
it's just, yeah.
So that frequency is specific for the vagus nerve.
Right.
The wandering nerve. We talked about this before, but I think the Apollo Neuro is well advanced because they have a product. It works.
Right.
They're in what phase of capital raise are they in?
They're in the Series B right now. So they've raised over $25 million.
$25 million.
Last year they had about $18 million in sales.
Wow.
So they're not profitable. So they're trying to get over that profit hump. They're only a 4-year-old company. So they have on the street right now, they're raising another $5 million at a certain valuation. I think $50 million. But they're trying to get to the point where they can have the cost and the profit margins to the point where they're going to make money. They've been reinvesting their profits, so they don't show much of a profit each year. But they're growing.
Because that's why. Because they're not taking money out; they're putting money in.
Right back. Innovation. They're adding artificial intelligence, so the watch actually knows when you're walking, much like the MedWatch technology, the CGM, that continuous glucose wearable, which has yet to get to the market, but is in a stage of the seed round.
When you talk about seed round,
there's pre-seed, friends and family. So the capital stack is made up of various investors that came in at different price points, valuations.
Run those different.
So you have your friends and family.
Okay.
You have your pre-seed. Call it pre-seed, which is kind of friends and family. It's after pre-seed, you have the seed round, which is you're putting money in. You're trying to prove up your technology. You don't have a viable product yet in the market.
Is that where there's terms like Reg D and things like
Reg D is a SEC Securities and Exchange word that says Regulation D. It's in their regulations of how, when you go to raise money and talk to the public, there are certain rules you have to follow in order to talk to the public, and you have to get exemptions. And they have you have to play in their sandbox. So
after that, then you go to Series A.
You go to the Series A, which is where MedWatch is. That's the closing successfully.
So MedWatch is a company, continuous glucose monitor. Now, their advantage is they are iteration of an established product, which is continuous glucose monitor. They just do it a little differently.
Correct.
Non-invasive, and it uses an optical scanner.
That's right.
But it has more than that.
So the platform, the device, we've proven accurately measures glucose using a wearable on your arm by shining light through the skin, using AI to filter out the unwanted data, calculates continuously your glucose levels. Beyond that, it'll calculate your heart rate, your blood pressure. That's a pulse. It'll know if you've fallen down, so it has the ability to, which is it's being added to Polyneuro.
That's a big issue because
So, and it just reports that back to the phone. Then you have a remote patient monitoring to your medical team or your clinic, capturing that data, sending alarms, whatever. So the application for that is with the build out of their tech beyond glucose is phenomenal.
So you just mentioned two companies. These are wearables.
That's right.
One is calculating data.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is actually doing something, modulating the frequency of the vagus nerve to bring your speed up or put it down without a pharmaceutical agent.
That's it. Frequency medicine, they call it.
Frequency medicine. So this is really exciting. Mm-hmm. So let's go to the next level of devices that you have out there.
So beyond Med Watch, we have a new company called Nutrigenic.
Okay.
It was formed a year ago. Nutrigenic, Nutregenic, is a human growth factor compound that was originally formulated by two gentlemen in Irvine, California, to be used for burn victims.
Okay.
The effectiveness of that proved, shadow of a doubt, it heals burn the skin.
So is a topical?
It's a topical.
Topical.
Right.
And it was derived from?
Derived from the, for the, baby boys' foreskin, right?
So
that
that technology in my field,
yes,
in ulceration burns and that sort of thing, and neuropathy, it's called Apligraph. So that came out in 1998. And I used a lot of that at the wound care center. Same technology. So the fibroblast, it's really not
that's right,
a live skin per se, but it has all the growth factors in there.
That sort of signal to the cell to heal with proteins and so forth.
Yes. So apparently this company is taking the liquid form of that.
That's right.
And how is it applied?
It's applied orally. So the gentleman that came up with this formulation to take to the market is an oral formulation, and he's a professional dentist, 34 years.
Okay, so that's the first application of this technology.
Beyond the skin use, that's right.
Beyond, so that's mucosa. So I would assume, and I don't know this for a fact, but in dental surgery that would help healing,
right,
and stem cells and all that sort of thing. So in the oral mucosa, I could see that would be a good application because it worked well on the skin,
and now you have the product that was mailed to you.
Yes, but I didn't get it yet. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what it does for keratosis, maybe even basal cells. That would be a blockbuster.
Yes.
So that's another company. So you had three. You're doing good.
Thank you.
What about that company, Blink?
Blink Frames, another wearable so it will replace your glasses. It has built into the frames 2 cameras. It has infrared. It has Bluetooth. It has a battery in the side of the glasses that go over your ears. Has a little charging base. You put them on, it's constantly analyzing your eyes. So, looking at 30 eye diseases, and myopia to glaucoma to your how many times you're blinking, your screen time, right? So it's a way for parents to help, modify and moderate the use of.
So now we have a device, a wearable. That is a technology with a camera.
That's right.
Gathering data, sending it to the cloud, analyzing it with AI.
That's right.
A preemptive type of device.
Yes.
So preventing disease, what a concept, huh?
Well, it's yeah, exactly right. Preventing. So it's establishing a kind of a baseline, and it's their go-to-market. It's the pediatric space to bend the curve on myopia, which is a global epidemic. At this point.
Know.
So they're targeting 1,000 ophthalmologists. There's only 1,000 in the U.S. right now that are dealing with pediatric patients. So if they can catch early enough, and whether it's lazy eye, amblyomyopia, myopia, that they could reverse the eye going into almost like blind. I mean, you have different degrees of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to wear glasses permanently, and then you can't correct it. At least they're going to be able to establish of kind of where that child is in terms of severity of that myopia, and then track it. Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? Is it staying the same? So it's a diagnostic tool to help make decisions.
By the way, back to Apple, which started this conversation, a shout out to Mr. Cook. Interesting, he's up at Palo Alto, and that's where Dr. Cook, my friend, started me on the stem cell world. They just announced today that iMac, their computer line, are going to have AI chips in them.
Yes.
And I thought, well, why is that so exciting? The answer is you can process the AI on your laptop.
Right.
Doesn't have to go to the cloud.
That's why NVIDIA as a stock is just continuing to
And now Apple's in the game.
Well, those chips are 3D chips. They're stacked on three. It's not just one, semiconductor.
But it's
really
in
incredible.
the computer, so
It's in
it
the
doesn't
computer.
go to the
Right.
it doesn't go to the
Oh,
cloud.
wow.
So it's
Wow.
so that is a leapfrog
Another one.
movement. So that go back to the Apple Store at Fashion Square,
Right.
and see the marriage between medicine and technology.
Right.
And Dan, great report.
It's
and
just
when you see not John Cook, it's my guy. When you see Tim Cook
right.
at Apple, and you have your fund up and running.
Yes.
So just knock on his door. He's right up there in Palo Alto by Stanford.
Sunnyvale.
Yeah.
Cupertino.
Yeah.
Somewhere
just
there.
tell him I sent you.
Sure will, Rick.
Great talk. Thank you.
You too. Thanks, Rick.